Hi guys, welcome back. We're on the van again today, and today's issue is that the radiator fan wouldn't switch off. I switched the van off and kept going, which normally happens, but it kept going on for longer than than normal. And then I located the fuse, which is the number one fuse, pulled that, and that switched the fan off. Otherwise, the battery would have drained, and I wouldn't have been able to start the van. So fortunately, the thermostat works, everything works, and I didn't hit heavy traffic. Otherwise, temperature would have gone up again, and then that would have been an issue. But what I thought of is that if I'm driving and the temperature does go up, I'll just put the fuse back in and I'll ride with the fan on. That would be safer. Okay, so there's the number one fuse. Let me just take that down. Okay, there's the number one fuse. The relay sits in the number five location. One, two, four. That's the fifth location there. And let me just see. It goes in this way. So you'll see the radiator fan will switch on now. As soon as I put that in, see there it switches on. And if I pull that fuse, see it also switches off. So I get this one. So I'm just going to test the fuse. This does indicate to me that the relay is working. Can feel it click over, but I have had issues where you can feel the relay clicking, but the contacts on the other side could be stuck in the open position. So we're going to check that now. So one of the first things we're going to do is check the relay, and switch the multimeter on. It's measuring ohms or resistance, and that beeps when there's continuity. At the moment it's open circuit. Test the leads. Now if you can see that diagram on the relay, that is where the relay gets switched between 85 and 86, that section, and then between 30 and 87 it should be open circuit with no power. Once you give power between 85 and 86, then 30 and 87 should be closed. So at the moment it should be open. So let's check between 30 and 87. So there's 30, 87 should be open, which indeed it is. You can see that's open. We'll just test. It is open, so that's good. And we heard it clicking over. We don't really need to check it to see if it works, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm going to connect this test probe to the battery. That's negative this side, positive on the other side. Okay, now what we'll do with the relay, we said to operate the relay between 85 and 86. So we'll put the negative on 85, which is 85 and 86 there. and we're going to give it, let's see if I give it positive, that red light will come on and we should hear it click. Okay, so we put negative on 85 and we're going to put a positive on 86. And you can hear it click. So I want to get that tool into view. You can see I'm going to give it a positive now. You can hear it click. And I'll put the multimeter on so we can see that it goes from open circuit to closed circuit on the other contacts. Alright, we said you can remember to operate the relay it's between 85 and 86 and the contacts is 30 and 87. So we're going to connect the multimeter to 30 and 87 and we'll see that should still be open circuit. 30 and 87. We'll just test it. You can hear it beep there. So the multimeter is working. And then we're going to put power onto the circuit, and if you can see the multimeter at the bottom that shows open circuit, and as soon as I give it power here, then it should close. Power off, power and off. So the relay is working. Fuse was still fine, so that indicates that the issue that we have must be with the temperature switch. So I'm going to remove that and replace it. I already found the suppliers they do have in stock, but I wanted to make sure what the issue is. I didn't want to get a temperature switch and then the relay was stuck in the closed position. That would have been a waste of time and money. Okay, we're going to check the fan switch. To access that, the lower grill is usually 3 screws that needs to be taken out. I've only got 2, and then just get to lift it up. There's the temperature switch. So what I had done previously when I had an issue was I put in a manual switch, and I was switching the fan on and off manually when it went too high until I could sort the cooling system out. And what I did was I left it like that after I'd sorted it out, as an emergency, and I just decided, you know what, I'll leave it in so that if anything happens I can just manually switch on and off. So what I suspect now is, even though the cooling system is or the water is cool, the coolant is cold, this should be open circuit, but I suspect that it will be closed circuit. So let's just test that. So testing for continuity, so on common and resistance check, and then I'm just going to put these crocodile clips onto the leads, and then we'll remove these female spade connectors. Oh, let's test it first. So that's open circuit. Okay, so the leads are okay. And then So what we're expecting to happen now is for it to show continuity as soon as I touch that, so that it should beep. Oh, it doesn't. Oh no, the fuse is out. No, it should. The fuse only show lets the power through, but that's open circuit. So something is sending power to the fan. Okay, let's think about this. Back of the fuse box. The fuse is still in. I'm going to put in the relay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this switch is on, it means that there's power going through to the fan without the temperature switch. Oh no, that's off. Fan isn't. Oh, won't work. I don't have these connectors on. So if this goes on, oh, it's off. What the heck? Should have tested this thing yesterday when it was giving an issue. Now I'll have to wait for that problem to reoccur before I can do anything about it. This is the manual switch. You can hear the fan goes on and off. Oh, while I had the problem, the fuse was fine, the relay was fine. That switch bypasses that completely. I think it just takes power straight to the... No, talking nonsense. It doesn't bypass the relay and the fuse. It just bypasses the temperature switch. It's just easy for me to pull that, and it's too lazy to fetch the multimeter, which is only about 2-3 steps away. Okay, so it is showing open circuit, and will only close, should only close when the temperature is above the set point. And in this case, I think it's around about 82, not 100% sure. I think there's a different one to what comes out in the 2.1 liter, the 1990 microbus. I think that's a Peugeot radiator fan switch, and it cuts in at a lower temperature. Yeah. Okay. So it's not such a train smash if it switches on and I'm on the long road. I can always disconnect it, but if it happens again, I'm going to test it immediately just to confirm that that is closed circuit, that is closed, and it should be open when the temperature is cold. So if it comes on and it stays on, then I'll leave it for about 5 minutes and then test it again. If it's closed, then that means that it's faulty. It's kind of locked in that position. Don't know why it took so long to open up again, because wasn't overheating. My temperature gauge still showed normal, so that's why I wasn't too concerned. I just found something interesting now. When I move this, look so, so that terminal there is an issue. Get that. Okay. Okay, so that definitely has to be replaced. I'm going to get the replacement now, and then I'll change it, and that means I'll have to check the cooling system again. I got the new temperature switch. We're just going to test it. What we're expecting is that it will stay open circuit because it hasn't reached the temperature set point. So there we're on the continuity check. Just make sure that the leads are okay and the multimeter is measuring. Okay. There's the switch, comes with a washer. So this is a Peugeot switch. They didn't have one for the microbus. The switch is on a little bit earlier. Just double check. Yeah. Now let's check the other side. Okay, so it stays. You can see the open circuit, which is good. We could possibly put this in some boiling water so that it would activate. I mean, boiling water, we know it's 100 degrees Celsius, especially it's 100 degrees Celsius at boiling point. I don't have a thermometer, so that's one way of knowing that it has reached that temperature. If the water is boiling, then that should close, because 100 is at least 15 to 20 degrees above the set point of the switch. I'll set up. I'm going to boil this water, and I've got normal room temperature water on that side. So we're going to go from this pot into that pot. There I've set it on resistance, and I've got crocodile clips connected to the temperature switch. So that should switch and close before it reaches boiling point. That's what we're expecting. And normally it's just the, I think it's made out of brass. Normally that section fits inside the radiator, it screws in, and the black part is external. So the water level is just below the black section. Okay, that temperature switch should close before it reaches boiling point. Set point is around about 85, I think. It's meant for a Peugeot radiator, so it comes in a bit earlier than the 2.1 temperature switch or fan switch. There we go. Now put it in the cold water, and it should. The hysteresis is a bit bigger, which means that between the set point and the reset point, it's a bit larger. So that means that the fan will stay on a bit longer. Just testing it again, bring it up to temperature. So technically that should close at 82, and I think around about 60 odd, let's say 65. There we go. It opens up again. So that's working and ready to install. It's too short. But it's big enough to be seen. that's it. I'll have to get it up to temperature. There's the new temperature switch in. I'll have to get it up to temperature to just make sure that it's not leaking. That I can do at a later stage. And that will also be my test. I'm driving and that fan switches on. The other thing I wanted to do was to replace that screws. I'll show you what I had in there before. I had this in before. So metal self-tapping screw for that fitting. I couldn't get the exact one. I got these plastic ones instead. But this is just a bit too wide, so I'm going to just cut the pieces off from that. Keep cutting small pieces off. That it fits in there. A little bit more. That's it. It can just be pushed in.
Sitting with something.
Couldn't get the exact ones like I had before, so I bought the round ones and I'm just cutting the sides off. Done. Temperature switch, the fan switch that's in the radiator. I did cycle already, so I know it's working. I'm just filming it now. There we go. Switch on. Switched off, and that is a success. Just double check that there's no leaks, and I don't see any leaks at the bottom. Just gonna put our finger through just under the switch. It's not wet there, so that's a success in my book.